Hello, my name is Luke, and I am the pretty boy, tough guy carver. I'm a half Nishka, half Haida, 50-something Indigenous man. I've been a professional artist for the last 20 plus years. I was a professor for 10, and I've been an amateur game designer for the last 4. This is a weekly vlog where I'll play a solo board game and talk about my current art projects, the games I'm designing, some things I'm into, some past artworks, and my never-ending battle to regain my health. Hello, shiny happy people, it's Luke. I'm here with my weekly check-in. This is episode 3 in the series, and thank you for coming back. I'm going to get into my process here for a bit. I'm filming these videos on my iPhone and editing and uploading from my iPad. It makes my options limited, but I want to keep this easy as possible for now. So basically, what I do is I take notes all week, then I write a script for the lack of a better word, and then I read it into Apple Voice Memo to see the length and to see how easy it is for me to say. And then I edit again. I'm going to try and have all these videos go to around 25 minutes, give or take. The reason is that I want to be consistent for the sake of learning. Still, one of the main reasons that I want to keep this as simple as possible is I want to stay concerned with my health and quality of life. That's where my focus is, losing weight and making art. It'll all fall into place after that. I think making these videos is helping. It's only been 3 weeks, but gathering data about my life has made me more self-aware, which in my case is a good thing. It was an interesting week with a lot of sports watching, and I felt pretty good. It's funny, I said I wanted to keep this as simple as possible, but there's still quite a bit of work to do. I can't imagine what it's like for a professional channel. Just remember to take photos and editing and all the writing and recording and doing multiple takes. And the takes aren't just for quality, they're also so that my mouth can get used to saying the words. I can't imagine what it'd be like with 2 people or even 3. While writing this overview, I was thinking about the legacy of the channel. And what I mean by that is that these are in the world forever. Not that there's anyone watching. And I know it's weird to worry about that right now, but I was thinking about the things I say in these videos and the people viewing them and how it would affect my art career. But then I realized I'm over 50 years old and I've been a professional artist for over 20. So really, why should I give a poop what people think? And it's not like I'm trash talking anyone or being too personal. I mean, if you saw me, you'd know I was overweight. And honestly, in real life, I'm a bit of an oversharer. And so even if we met, you didn't know me, you'd know quite a bit about me after 10 minutes. So yeah, I'll try not to worry about it and sort of have trust in my discretion. One piece of news that you see is that I made an outro for this series. It's a digital drawing I did of Homer Simpson, and it was a funny drawing I made to send to new followers on my socials. But a few months ago, I showed it to someone I just met, and they were like, "Is that you?" And it was like, ouch, straight to the heart. Anyway, I'll try not to say as much in these videos, but no guarantees. Okay, so the game we're playing this week is called Dorf Romantik. I got this about a week before Christmas. And it's designed by Michael Palm and Lucas Zachary, and with the art by Paul Reeb. The game in Canada is published by Pegasus Spiel. It's being marketed as a co-op game, but honestly, I think of it as a solo game. I really couldn't imagine playing this game with other people. It's a really simple game on the surface. And it seems like you're just laying tiles and sort of put them in a specific order to win. There's a theme where you're building a little town, but it's actually more of an abstract game. But the theme actually works well. Strategy-wise, it's light. You can't really plan ahead because there's a lot of randomness in it. But it's more of a tactical game. And what I mean by that is like you take your tiles randomly. You don't get to see them ahead of time, and you're laying them out. And you get 3 scoring tiles to begin, and you sort of have to hope that you get the right tiles to get the victory points with the scoring tiles. But even if you don't, You can sort of plan ahead and start building things in your anticipation of getting the right scoring tile, but it's really random, so you sort of have to be tactical about it because, like I said, you can't strategize because you might not get the tiles that you want. And I think the artwork works well for the theme. You're basically building a little community with, I guess, deserts and like towns and railroads and rivers and forests. And I sort of imagine, I guess, maybe you're making the town for little people. And it's actually really hard to score a lot of points. Like, I'm scoring at the bottom level, uh, and I think it's like Vagrant or something. I don't know, I can't remember the title, but there's like 30 levels and I can't get past 100 points. So hopefully I'll get better at it and I'll be able to. Oh, and it's a campaign game, so you move along on the track, and I'm only moving one spot at a time, so I need to get better at it. I do enjoy it though. It's a nice, chill game. Yeah, so that's what I'm playing this week. Okay, so I weighed myself today, and the verdict is 270. So I lost like 5 pounds, and I'm super happy with that. I didn't gain any weight, woohoo, which is good. But I mean, I did eat a lot better this week. But honestly, I think a lot of the weight loss, I was expecting this. I think a lot of the weight loss is due to the holiday weight coming off because, Christmas, and we actually have a lot of birthdays around this time of year. So there's a lot of parties, a lot of cake, a lot of, and also just normal, like going to functions and like eating in restaurants and like getting food in and just not buying the right food, like being really festive. And so with eating a little bit better, I knew a lot weight would come off. So, but I'm still feel good about it. I mean, it's better than gaining weight, right? And yeah, and so I bought better groceries for next week. So hopefully next week will be good. I don't expect 5 pounds, but it'll be nice to lose a few more. And yeah, so I bought a bunch of vegetables, and like one head of cabbage was like $8, and I was like, what? Cabbage? I don't even like cabbage. But with the way prices are going these days, like it's gotten to the point where I can't even waste vegetables anymore. Like I remember back in the day, like vegetables were an afterthought to me, and if like because they were so cheap, and like if I actually left them in my fridge too long, didn't eat them, I just wouldn't worry about it. But now it's like, I'm leaving $20 in my fridge if I don't eat everything. So I'm gonna get better about that. Maybe just if you're there for a few days, maybe I'll freeze them, cut them up and freeze them. That's better than wasting them because that's a lot of money, man. I can't afford to just throw money away like that. Yeah, so, oh, and I wrote here, I weighed myself today, just like every day. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the 5 pounds, and yeah, hopefully it'll continue. Not 5 pounds a week, but the weight loss. Even if it's a pound, I'll be happy. Yeah. Okay, so this is my workout board. Those are my 10 exercises and the amount of times I worked out. So, like I said, for a workout, I do three notches, and for treadmill, I do one. And as you can see, there's only four, so I only did two workouts. I'm hoping for next week to double that to two and two again. And originally, I was going to do 12 reps for each one. It's 10 exercises, it's 120 reps per set. It was too much, so I think I was overly optimistic in my fitness level, so I moved it down to 10. And push ups aren't really push ups, they're like I'm on my knees. I'm not like on my toes. I just have to go slowly. Like I've injured myself trying to get back into shape in the past, so I'm being really careful. And like I said, 270, that's a lot of weight to be thrown around when you're out of shape. And I know in the last chapter I said I went a lot of going out for functions and dinner and stuff, and that I did, but it was all those were all really difficult for me. There's a few times I canceled because I just couldn't. And when I do go out for dinner, I have to actually take a Gravol to settle my stomach because I get really, really nervous and I can't eat. And that's no fun for anybody because people are always asking, "Oh, how come you're not eating?" Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so yeah, so I'll take a Gravol and that'll settle my stomach, and then I can sort of relax. And once I get in there and relax, I'm fine. Especially when my stomach isn't like tossing and turning. Yeah, so like I said, I got to do more working out. I like my plan. I just have to do it. Do it now. Okay, so my food journal for the week. Um, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna throw away any food, so I'm just sort of eating what's left of my not as healthy food. I ate what remained of my oatmeal supply, so from now on it's just gonna be boiled eggs and hearty toast for breakfast. So yeah, I'll get started. So on Thursday, I had oatmeal and toast for breakfast, eggs and potatoes for lunch, and meat pot pie. And then I had some leftover chips from the night before. And then on Friday, I had oatmeal and toast again. And for lunch, I had some tomato soup and crackers. And for dinner, I had pork chops with rice and creamy mushroom sauce made from Campbell's cream of mushroom soup. And I had a pepperoni and some Ritz crackers, and I had some hot chocolate and some toast for a late snack. And then on Saturday, like I said, I was watching football all weekend. I had eggs and toast for breakfast, had a salad for lunch, and a pepperoni for snack. And then I made some homemade cheeseburgers for dinner, and I had some Ritz crackers for a snack. And then Sunday, I had bacon and eggs and toast. Had a salad for lunch, and again a pepperoni for snack. And I had some chili for dinner with some toast and hot chocolate. And then I had some cheese and crackers for a snack as well. And then on Monday, there was an early morning Canucks game, so I made like pancakes. Had the rest of my salad for lunch and with grilled cheese sandwiches. And then I made some corned beef and rice with vegetables for dinner. And then I had some hot chocolate and some sour ribbons and a banana for a late snack. And then on Tuesday, I'm just reading these out. I had oatmeal with banana. It says part meal for some reason in my notes. And toast for breakfast. And I had a salad, the last of the salad actually, and I sliced up an apple, put it in there. It was really good. And for dinner, I had pork chops with the rest of the corned beef rice on the side. And then on Wednesday, I had wow peanut butter. I developed a peanut allergy over the pandemic, which is brutal. But I had fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Wow peanut butter. For lunch, I had tomato soup and crackers. And then for dinner, my nephews came over to play games, so we bought like a big sub sandwich with potato salad and chips with dip. And then after they left, I had some hot chocolate. Yeah, so not bad. It's a pretty good week for food. Oh, and I just realized in the last section I showed my workout board, and you couldn't see it because it's so small. So maybe in the future I'll just do a close up of the notches I'm doing for the workouts. Thanks. Okay, so art I worked on this week. I didn't work on any art this week. I did paint some minis, like when my nephews came over, like I said. I'm still not going to show because they suck. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see them there. They're not that great. I also did some research on painting night skies. The reason I did that is because the back of the Dreamer mask is going to be painted with a night sky, like it'll be a person floating in the cosmos, like I said. So I want it to look like a night sky. So I did some research in that. I watched some YouTube videos on how to paint them, and there was a surprisingly large amount of videos on how to paint the night sky, and also a large amount of like, is it ASMR, AMSR? Anyway, ASMR. I don't know. A lot of those videos where there's just someone painting and just the sound of the brush moving, and I guess it's supposed to be relaxing. It is nice. I could probably go to sleep to one of those videos. Yeah, it's really good. And so, yeah, if you're thinking about learning how to paint a night sky, there's plenty of resources available on YouTube. So check it out. And so, yeah, so, there's lots of projects I want to work on, and they're all fairly small. And so I really just have to get started. And honestly, it's really just my mind holding me back at this time. So I really just need to sit down and start something. I need to start, well, I mean, I'm going to need to start working on the painting the night skies and carving and so on and so forth. And when I was writing this blog entry, I felt really bad that I didn't do anything, so I cleaned up my studio. Here's a few pics. Yeah, so there's my painting area, and then there's my game making area, and then there's my storage rack, and then my carving bench. And yeah, so I wrote this in all caps with an exclamation mark, and it says, "Get started, Luke." So yeah, I'll get started. Okay, so games I worked on this week. I spent the week developing a game that will end up being a deck building game with engine building, action selection, and tile laying. the tiling we use to gain resources. I mentioned the game last week, but this week I sort of put pen to paper and I wrote out a synopsis and some of the rules. And I also started thinking about the product. There are 4 factions in the game. There's the hooligan fishers, and they also make grease, clam diggers, and then there's sea lion hunters, and then there's gatherers. The gatherers would gather seaweed. And so the game is basically about gathering, producing, and selling or trading traditional foods. And it just occurred to me as I'm writing this that the seaweed gatherers could also smoke hooligans as a resource for trading. And anyway, for a while I was thinking it could be 4 solo games sold separately. But now I'm thinking maybe it would just be one game with all 4 factions in there. The asymmetry would be fairly light. I mean, they're a bit samey, but there definitely need to be trading between the factions. So I think that's why it should be one game. So 1 to 4 players. But like I said, it's not something I'm going to be working on anytime soon. Honestly, if I do make it, it'll be 2 years away at least because I have so many other games I want to finish. I have like 3 games that are really close to finishing right now, so I really need to get on one that's actually finished. So yeah, what else did I do this week? I managed to do a playtest for the mosquito mode of my trick-taking game, Three Ravens. So Three Ravens is the name I've landed on, and I really like it. Ravens with a Z. And so mosquito mode happens when no one calls. So it's a game where someone calls and it ends up being all against 1 or all against 2 in 5-handed. But when no one calls, it goes in mosquito mode and then everyone plays to negative points. So in mosquito mode, you're actually trying to lose tricks, or the tricks you take, you're trying to minimize the points. And the winner of mosquito mode is the player who gets the least points. And then that bonus for that person would be that they get 0. And everybody else would have to count their points to take 0. And there's 100 points in the game, so that's 100 points between those other players. And so we played this with my 2 nephews on Wednesday night, and one of my nephews really liked it, and he preferred it. So that's good. That's a good sign that it works. Okay, so games I played this week. Dorf Romantik, obviously, but I didn't play it just for this video. I actually played it early in the week. I was really into it. I was into doing some puzzly stuff, and I played it. I was like, oh, I should do this one for the vlog. And so I played Dorf Romantik early in the week. I think it's Saturday night. And then I played Race for the Raft. Race for the Raft is a game I kickstarted. Or maybe Game Founded. Probably Game Founded. Anyway, so I got it, and I played it like when I first got it, and I was like, oh, this is okay. And I didn't touch it again until this Saturday, and I played it on Saturday, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to play it more. And I think it'd be a fun game to play with the right group, because it's sort of a comedic game when you play with other people. When you play it by yourself, it's more of like a puzzle. It's still a puzzle with more people, I think, but yeah, it would definitely have to be with a sort of outgoing group. But it's great. Like it's a really fun puzzle to work on. And this week I also played Jaws of the Lion, and I bought this game like when I first got into the hobby, like I got him 2 years ago, I guess, and I never played it. I bought Gloomhaven too for some reason because I was, I didn't know what I was doing. I got into the hobby by designing games. Before I got into the hobby, I started designing games. I started designing Three Ravens. I had played Three Ravens for years, and I just thought it was such an amazing game. And I was like, why aren't more people playing this? And I realized it was because I found out later on the reason more people aren't playing it is because people just don't know about it. And so I thought, well, I can make my own version of this game and, show people what an amazing game. Make my own version of this traditional tarot style trick taking game. If you don't know anything about those are games that are you basically have to be born into those games or marry into them. Because you can buy like the decks for these tarot style games, but they don't even come with rules. Like they're supposed to anticipate that you're just going to know it because if you're buying it, then you know the game. So I thought, wow, this is such a great game. Like it'd be nice to bring new people into it, and that's how I got into the hobby. So I started doing research, and I was open up to this world of hobby board gaming, and everyone was like, Gloomhaven, buy Gloomhaven, it's a great solo game, blah blah blah. So I bought it for like $150, and then I got it. I was like, oh my god, I can't play this game. And then I found out there was like a lighter version, lighter quote unquote, called Jaws of the Lion. So I bought that, and I just wasn't into it. I couldn't figure out how to learn it, blah blah blah, and I started buying other games and playing other games, and I really enjoyed those. And so finally this weekend I decided to break out Jaws of the Lion, and man, it's an amazing game. Like I really enjoyed the combat system, and so I really got into it. I played 5 games this weekend at the 5 introductory missions, and I just got into it so much that like I like reorganizing boxes so that they're easy to play solo. And so I took out the insert and I put in my own inserts. I got some inserts from other games and put them in. So I have it set up so it's really easy because you only play 2 characters. And I'll play the same 2 characters, I guess. And so I set it up so that you can sort of get everything going quite quickly. And yeah. And so, yeah, like I said, and because Dorf Romantik is my solo game for this week, I played it again just to sort of warm up. I played a couple times actually. And so on Wednesday when my nephews came over for mini painting and board game night, we played Three Ravens, like I said earlier, and we also played Red Rising. And they had never played that before, and I'd only played that solo. And it's a good solo game, but it's a great game to play with people, other people. I think the one challenge that I found when playing with playing with other people is the cards don't cycle as well. And in the first couple of rounds, they don't cycle at all. So you're just sort of exchanging cards because you're trying to figure out your strategy. Whereas when you play solo, like the automa like cycles the cards so fast that you sort of have time to sort of figure stuff out. Whereas when you're playing the multiplayer, it's like you have to like you really have to go with what you're going to go with quickly because it can end fairly quickly. And so it was really good gaming night because my one nephew won Three Ravens and my other nephew won Red Rising, and I was just actually happy to play board games with other people, so we all won. It was an amazing night. Hello there. So the channels I watched this week are, like I said, I was learning Jaws of the Lion, so I watched Watch It Played with the guy with the glasses. I can't remember his name. And I watched Dale the Casual Gamer and I watched both those videos for all 5 scenarios. And between them, it made the onboarding process breeze. Yeah, and of course, because I'm a game designer, playing the game really sort of inspired ideas. I also watched the Board Game Garden. It was a call video, which showed me how hard it is to get rid of things that you love. And then I also watched another call video with Board Game Ramblings, and I just thought about how different those 2 videos are. And I was just like, well, I can't really imagine those people hanging out with each other. And then because I like to, and then I started imagining what if it would be like an Anchorman type situation if they met, and if other like board game personalities got involved. Anyway, that was my laugh for the week. And anyway, my goals for next week are to test the 4-player version of my print to play game, and hopefully if my nephews are into it, we'll test the 3-player version of my print to play game. And I also want to test the onboarding. I'm making an onboarding mode for Three Ravens, and so I really like to test that. I also want to do carving next week, more carving, and do more working out. And so the artwork for the week is Breakin'. This is a digital drawing I did a few years ago. It's a homage to Jack Kirby, and I wanted to have some fun with traditional clothing, and it's not indigifuturistic, but it's more like present with an alternative past. Like my culture without colonialism, but with collaboration. And I understand that it's a fantasy, but it's fun to fantasize once in a while. And anyway, these are available as prints from MKG 127 Gallery in Toronto and online. Tell them Luke sent you. They'll know what that means. It doesn't mean anything. You still have to pay full price. Anyway, so thank you for tuning in. Hi, Editor Luke here. I had to rush that last section because the first time I did it, I got to the end of the video before I even stopped talking about the videos I watched. So a lot of that was sort of condensed. So that's why if it seemed a bit rushed, because it all was rushed. And yeah, so again, like I said, thank you for tuning in, and I'll do better next time. Thanks. Thank you for viewing my channel, and I hope you will continue to tune in. The old man once said, life is a journey, and if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it. So this is me, stopping and looking around. because I have been missing it. These are a few of my socials. Please follow those and this channel as well. Thank you and be well.